Hey everybody, how's it going? Today I'm going to be installing a set of Perry Parts bump stops on my 2019 GMC Canyon. So Patrick at Perry Parts was kind enough to send me these to do an installation and review on. Patrick makes these bump stops for a number of vehicles, and he's just started to get into the Chevy Colorado and GMC Canyon market, as well as the Chevy Silverado. So we're going to put these on my GMC Canyon, and if you follow my channel, you know my GMC Canyon is slightly modified. It is not stock by any means, but it is not really fancy modified, whatever you want to call it. I've got a set of Bilstein 5100 leveling shocks on this truck on all four corners. I've got a lift block in the back. The way GM suspension is designed is the front bump stops is like an integral part of the suspension. So these are the bump stops right here. These yellow rubber things, and they're on both front suspension lower control arms, and they're supposed to give a little extra dampening to the suspension. So Patrick's bump stops are longer to help with lifted applications, and they're made out of a different material. So the factory ones here are made out of a rubber type material, whereas Patrick's are made from a 3D printed polyethylene. I will double check that, but it is a proprietary blend of 3D printed materials, and you can see the layers there in the 3D printing. I want to say he's also engineered some air cavities in here so that when it does compress, it can give off that pressure inside of the bump stop. So it's kind of neat. He's got his logo printed right into the side of these things. I'll post a link to these in the description box, his website. So we've got a set for the front and a set for the rear. The rear bump stops are mounted on top of the rear axles. You're really only going to utilize those when you are running a heavy load in the rear, or if you're hitting a lot of whoop-de-whoops going off-road. All right, so here we are on the driver's side. Here's the bump stop, and the way these pop out is literally just pry them out like that. They come out super easy, and this is what you're left with here. Here's the comparison. So we got a little bit extra length. We're just gonna put these right up in there. There's a hole, and then we'll bolt it in from the other side. So you can see we've got maybe a finger length longer once this is fully installed, maybe a half an inch, maybe a quarter of an inch, give or take. I'm going to take this bolt that comes with it, or this nut rather, and fish it through a hole on the back side here onto that stud. It is kind of tight here. I'm threading it into that nut and holding it with my finger in my right hand just to get it threaded. Well, I can't really get a tool up in there, but I'm tightening it from the bottom by spinning this thing, and I can feel I'm going up into the nut still on the inside of this hole, so maybe I'll just get it hand tight and then hope that the thread locker keeps it nice and tight. I mean, it's in there. It's not coming out anymore. I mean, if you consider these ones were just press fit into this spot and they never came out, and now we've got a threaded bolt up in there, I think we should be good. So I'm gonna call that good. I can't spin it anymore by hand, and I can't really get a tool in here anymore, but I can tell that the stud on the inside of this bump stop is up into the nut pretty well, sticking out several threads length. So I'm going to call that good, and then I'm going to go do the passenger side. And then Alright guys, so now I'm going to install the rear bump stops. I've got the vehicle jacked up with the wheels taken off. You don't really need to do this. I just did it for filming purposes. It's a little easier to show. So the factory GM bump stops are integrated into a plate that is on top of the leaf spring pack. So they're not mounted to the frame or anything. You just need to loosen the U-bolts and then you can install this plate in its place and then you can tighten up the U-bolts and you're done. They do have a extended bump stop for like if you are constantly traveling with stuff in your bed, like overlanders with a full camper or something, or full, overlanding gear. So they do make an extended version of this that you can install. This is the standard version. I'm gonna start loosening these U-bolts. They are accessed from the underside here with 13/16. You don't actually even have to remove them all the way. You just have to loosen up maybe one side and a little bit of the other side, and then you can take this right out of its space. So I will admit the Perry Parts brackets on these are a little bit wider. It shouldn't be an issue. These are universal plates that they're using right now. Pretty soon, he said, they are going to have their own press brake capabilities, and they're going to start making vehicle specific plates for their bump stops. But as you can see, they are a little bit different size. It's all right as long as you get everything tightened up correctly. Should not pose any issues. And that's how that's going to sit right on top of the leaf pack. So the key to these nuts on the bottom of the U-bolt is tightening them evenly. You want to tighten them in a crisscross pattern when you get them tightened up. So I've gotten them all kind of evenly run up right now. They're still a little bit loose, but they're mostly even. And I'm just going around and doing a little bit at a time on each one to do like a crisscross X pattern, just to run them up all the same length. And then eventually I will torque them in an X pattern that will get them to their final torque specification. So now that I have these all pretty much snugged up evenly, I'm going to use my torque wrench and torque them all down to 59 foot-pounds. And once it's at 59, you have to go a little bit past 59. It's a torque to yield, so it calls for 125 to 135 degrees, which is approximately another 1/3 of a turn past its 59 foot-pound. So there's my 59, there's my 59, 59, there's 59. Okay, so since I've got 59 foot-pounds all around, I'm going to do another 1/3 of a turn in an X pattern again, just to get them snugged up to their yield. There's my 30. Alright, I'm going to call that good. I'm going to jump on and do the other side now. Alright, so I got this side done, and I've got both the rear ones installed. So big thanks to Patrick from Perry Parts for sending me these. I will post a link to the website in the video description. Be sure to check him out and pick up a set of these for your truck. These will fit 2015 through 2022 GMC Canyon and Chevy Colorado. I believe they also fit the ZR2 models. I'm not 100% certain on that. Anyways, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Love it if you subscribe. Stay tuned for new videos. We'll see you next time. Later.